Well, I think tomorrow's game, and we've had a lot of big games at the Yum, but I believe tomorrow will be the best atmosphere that we've had since the Yum Center's been built. I think there's a lot of reasons for that. I think we have a great opponent coming in here that if you look at the statistics, it's about as good as it gets offensively. I think it's the ACC Big Ten Challenge, national television, late game, first year in the ACC, coming off a great football victory. I think the spirits are very high in this town, and it'll be just awesome atmosphere.
That's all we need. Thank you.
That was easy.
They shoot it so well. I mean, you guys obviously have played pretty good defense throughout the year, but how big of a challenge do they present as well as they shoot it?
Well, like I always say, if you're a great passing team, you're going to shoot a pretty good percentage. And they average, what, 18, 19 assists per game. So generally, great shooters stem from great passes, and they're a great passing team. And they get good shots inside. They get out on the break. Great three-point shooting team. So they're one of the better offensive basketball teams in the country. And you could say, well, maybe they haven't played tough schedule yet. Well, we haven't played a tough schedule yet either. So, you know, our statistics are not good at the offensive end.
What do you, that outside shooter, the perimeter shooter, three-point shooter, what do you?
Well, I thought it was because of the bench, but I really, that was an erroneous statement to make because it's not true. We want to take less than 5 challenge shots per game. That's what makes our defense so good. We challenge shots. So, generally speaking, if you're at the pro level, if you take a challenge shot, you're going to shoot under 35%. At the collegiate level for us, we're going to shoot less than 22%. We shot 8 challenge shots in the first half the other night. We want 5 for the game. We wound up taking 15 challenge shots. So it's not our shooting as much as the type of shot we're taking. And this team's going to play mostly zone, and they're very long, and it's very difficult to get good shots off.
What is your philosophy about non-conference schedule? How hard do you want it to be?
Well, sometimes you're not in charge of 20% of it. Like we just had a, what was that called?
Global Sports Showcase.
Global Sports Showcase. We're not in charge of the opponents, so it's a guessing game sometimes. Opening with Minnesota in season with 6 new players was difficult. Obviously, playing one of the best teams ever assembled in Kentucky is going to be difficult. Playing at Weston is a good road game before you get into conference road games because it's another rival opponent in a hostile arena. And then playing 3 Big Ten schools. The other schools you can't, to get what's called guaranteed games, sometimes you can't really dictate who they are, you know, what they are. It's the openings on their schedule. Sometimes becomes a bidding situation, you know, and these teams run their budget by getting to it. Like Kevin, let's take Kevin Keats. He's got to play 4 guaranteed games to run their budget the whole year. So they try to get as much money as they possibly can. And I think football does the same thing as well.
But I guess the question is, how well prepared do you feel you are going into Ohio State, Indiana State?
Because of Minnesota, I think we're well prepared. If it wasn't for Minnesota, I would say no. You know, Minnesota beat Ohio, split with Ohio State last year. And they're a little bit better this year than they were last year. So I think we're prepared, and you could turn around the question and say, how well is Ohio State prepared for Louisville? So it works both. I think unless you're in these tournaments like Atlantis or the Maui tournament, which we've played in both, you know a little bit more about your team when you play in those early on.
So this is more of a litmus test for you?
Against a team like Ohio State, offensively, this is a big challenge for us.
What's just a game like Cleveland State help you, though? I mean, looking at in terms of exposing.
Yeah. Well, we knew Cleveland State was going to play that way. Now, you know, the general fan that picks up and says, well, Savannah State beat them, so this is going to be a... We knew that wasn't going to be that way. We followed it from when they played Kentucky the year before. When they play big opponents with terrific guards, it's a ball control game. We knew it was going to be that way. That's their MO. And we got through it. We had like I kept telling the guys in the huddle, we had to be the better defensive team tonight. And we were.
Is Emmanuel back in practice yet?
He is, not 100%, but he practiced yesterday for the first time.
How's Chris doing?
Chris
Jones.
He's fine.
Yeah.
I know it's early, so you don't put a lot of stock in statistics so far.
No, I think they're starting to round into shape now. You get 5 to 8 games to start.
So you got a negative assist turnover ratio. What do you attribute that to? Is that concerning at all?
We're a high assist team, and we're not this year, so it is concerning me. I think that's leading to our bad shots.
It was more the low assist.
Well, I think that Luke was a great, Russ was a great scorer, Luke was a great scorer and passer, and those are 2 big guys away. You're replacing you guys who are turning the ball over too much.
What do you see on film from D'Angelo Russell? I know he's a young player still.
You know, we wanted him, obviously. He chose the right place because he could go and start for them, play a lot of minutes, and he's playing great basketball. Always loved D'Angelo. He can pass, he can handle, he can shoot, go one-on-one. We wanted him very much here. He's long.
Anything new on Shaquan?
No, not that I know of. I think they're meeting this week. It's been a very frustrating ordeal because the amateurism issue is something I don't quite understand. I sort of am the opposite of most coaches. I sort of agree with the NCAA a lot in a lot of things they do. I couldn't disagree with them more in the handling of this case than any player I've ever coached. I can even though I thought it was unjust, I can understand the Mohamed Lesage case. Even though I thought he was the greatest kid in the world, an outstanding student and everything else, I understood the amateurism with him. This is a young man who came in at 165 pounds. He's not a McDonald's All-American. He's a major project. So I don't understand the amateurism with this kid. If somebody's given a break because of this kid, they're from another country because he's not that type of basketball player. This is a young man who's a physical project. He's had success in high school, but it's not that type of situation. Nobody would give something to get in favor for Shaquan Aaron. It just doesn't work that way. So I don't understand it. I disagree with the NCAA, but I just wish they'd make a decision either way. He's already missed 5 games. You can't get those 5 games back right now. And I don't know what the issue is. He's not involved, so I don't know what the issue is. It makes no sense to me, this whole thing.
What do you say to a kid like that who's going through this, and obviously it's going to be frustrating for him?
It is, because he did nothing wrong in his eyes. You know, he did nothing wrong. You probably know, from what I understand from Kenny walking down here, you know more to it than I do, probably. Well, as much, I should say.
So he gets to practice.
Stop blushing.
He still gets to practice, be part of the team until this is resolved.
Say it again, I'm sorry.
He still gets to practice.
He gets to practice, but he's not highly motivated because he doesn't see himself playing, you know, and no matter how much you say, look, it's gonna be over soon, it's gonna be over soon. Now, here's a young man that quite doesn't understand this stuff. And
is there a real reality that he may not play this year? Like, is that kind of set in yet or not?
if that ever happened, we should go to the 5 conferences and start fresh. I'd be a big proponent of that. Not that I matter any bit.
Do you see this at all as indicative of the enforcement staff being cut back?
No, I just think they want more facts, more facts, more facts. They dragged it out, more facts, more facts. And basically, they're trying to pin it on the parents in some way, that they got breaks because they were Shaquan Aaron's parents. Obviously, they don't follow the pro circuit too much in the rankings of players. Obviously, they don't know about those things. They try their best in gathering the facts, and gathering the facts, and gathering the facts, and gathering the facts. But it's time to make a decision for this young man's benefit.
Have they given you any sense when that's going to be?
I hope this week. I hope this week. Our compliance department's been working with them for a long, long time on this matter.
Anything else for Coach?
How do you gauge the level of your team right now? Where it's going to be come
Tim, I'll tell you the truth. I'm struggling gauging this team because statistically, I don't like what I'm seeing. You know, not enough assists. Assist turnover ratio, as mentioned, is not good. I don't have a major problem with the field goal percentage right now and the three-point, which is really low. I knew the three-point percentage would not be great this year, losing Luke and Russ. So I knew that. The assist turnover things bother me a little bit. We did have a problem with rebounding, and I think we've done a much better job in that area, improving it with blocking shots. The improvement, the guy who's making the greatest strides right now is Matt Stockman. I'm really, really pleased with him. He like Gorky, picks up things very quick. He doesn't mind being physical. I think you're going to see, you're going to be very surprised the next time you see him step on the floor. I hope I don't put my foot in my mouth with that one, but I'm just basing it on what I see in practice. But statistically, I don't like the assist turnover ratio. I think as good passing leads to good shooting and high percentages, and I don't like the way we're passing the basketball. We've worked very hard this week on that. I do like our defensive numbers. I really like our offensive rebounding. It's improved. I like our shot blocking is getting better.
Are you as confident at this point as you were December 1st, the last 2 or 3 years?
No.
Anywhere close?
No. I think I'm sort of every single day just trying to get these guys to understand passing, to get these guys understand. You know, Oscar, I remember as if it's yesterday, 25, 30 years ago, U.B. Brown always saying about Oscar Robertson, when he asked, Oscar would say, what's the toughest thing you had to learn as a pro? He said, when to shoot and when to pass. And I think that's pretty much true with this basketball team. They're wide open, they don't shoot it, and then they try to go in and take a challenge shot. So we're trying to learn when to shoot and when to pass. And this week has been very good for that because this team is a big-time steal deflection team. They're very long with their wingspan. They cover the gaps in the zone very, very well, and they get out on the break very well. And it's a good, really good offensive basketball team that takes advantage of steals.
Is it fair to say then that you're concerned or worried about execution, but the pieces are good enough?
You know, the only thing I don't worry is, am I concerned? Yes, but I don't worry because of their attitude, their ability to play their asses off. These guys just, they lace them up and they give it to you. You know, they give you 100% every day. Their attitude is great. So generally things work out. Now, I'm just hoping they'll be working out by tomorrow. Tomorrow, that's the big question of whether they can do it. But look, our defense and our work ethic is there, and now our offense has to grow.
What about Scott, their point guard? I think he's 52 to 11.
One of the best in the Big Ten. Really understands how to play. My son told me he's one of the premier point guards because he really understands how to play, plays great defense as well as great offense. And, you know, D'Angelo's the beneficiary of playing with a great point guard like that. Their front court's very good. Their bench is very good. So they're really a terrific basketball team. They're going to be one of the better teams because they're going to get better and better. They're young.
Follow up on your opening statement, just to be clear, you said that this might be the best atmosphere. You're including Kentucky.
I don't think Kentucky's great atmosphere.
No?
I really don't. I think there's 5,000 of them getting in our building. So I don't. We got 5 getting into their building, and they get 5,000. So I don't think it's great atmosphere. I think I would put that 10th on the list of great atmosphere.
You don't expect 5,000 Ohio State fans?
No, I don't.
So atmosphere was unanimous at the Cardinal fans, more or less.
Great atmosphere for us, not for them. When I was at Kentucky, sometimes I'd go into Freedom Hall. At the end of the game, you heard "Let's Go Blue" cheers many times. So I don't. The atmosphere. I wish we'd have what they have, which is, you know, if you see red, you don't get out of the building. Tell my children to wear blue. so they can live. But it was a great football game. Great football game. Yeah, you know, I just thought it was great. A great story, magical story for a third-string quarterback who probably didn't take a whole lot of snaps to come in and do that. I mean, that's a Cinderella story. That's incredible to witness a guy like that who doesn't take a whole lot of snaps. And you know, sometimes you find a gem when you didn't know you had a gem. And this young man may develop into a great quarterback for us, which is awesome. I want to, you know, just publicly want to congratulate Bobby and his staff. They have done a great coaching job this year. Put a lot of fun into the game for fans, and which I am. We had a blast this year watching the team develop. Defense was great, offense was terrific, and hopefully we'll get a great bowl and move on to play at LSU or somebody like that. That's what Kenny is.
Yes, Coach.
Yeah. Coming down here, you said we were playing LSU. Just quote Kenny Klein, we're going to play LSU.
That is
Better release, was Ballin or Tim Henderson? Better release.
I think you know, obviously Oz meant the national championship, a semifinal game, and but that's pretty much on the same level. Probably this young man did more to gain a victory against a rival opponent, and you know, everybody thought it'd be a defensive struggle somewhat, turned into an offensive game that was incredible and great ending. You know, for a quarterback to come after they score, to come back, and you know what was great about this quarterback? He knew where greatness lied. He kept throwing it to Devontae Parker. Any other football questions at all?
Anything else? Thanks.
All right, see you tomorrow.
That's it, guys.